Welcome to Black, Red, and Blue. I'm AJ, and joined with me, as always, is Steve. So, unfortunately, I think our team got a little bit of altitude sickness here as we unfortunately lost this game 4-1. And even more unfortunately, basically, we had no designated players out there with Berkey getting injured. I think what was around like the 30th minute.
Yeah.
We didn't have Leuven, we didn't have Klaus, we didn't have Berkey, and it just, all these injuries started trickling down one by one this year. And hopefully this Berkey thing is not going to be too long. But before we get to the game part of this, Steve, before the game, like when you saw the lineup, what did you think? Were you excited? Were you thinking, okay, this is actually pretty decent for what we got, of course?
Yeah, when the announcement, when the lineup was out, I was really trying to focus on what the formation would be. When I saw the lineup, I saw Thor out there. I was like, okay, let's have it go with 4-2-3-1 now. We had just signed Jay Reed to a first team contract today, so I kind of figured he was going to come out and play. I'm excited to see Klein. You know, it's just what struck me was who was missing. Leuven was out. Totland was out. And it was just like, this is almost, it looks like another rotation type lineup. But I also looked at Colorado. They were missing Mihailovic, and I remember that he is on a yellow suspension. So they are kind of doing the same thing to me. And when I saw that, I looked at their lineup and I thought, well, what are they missing? And that kind of made me feel better when the guy that just bombed 3 on us like a month ago wasn't going to be in there. So while I wasn't super excited, I was looking forward to it because, I thought it would even out a little bit. So what about you? What were your thoughts when you first saw it?
Well, everybody's been saying that Thor's look better as games progress. So I was like, okay, we see Thor out there again. Maybe I'm wrong about this, and maybe people are seeing something that I'm not seeing. And so I was like, okay, I'm kind of excited just to see another shot. I loved our attacking 4 with Kajima, Klein, and Indy up there with Thor. I was like, okay, this looks like it's going to be pretty decent. Our defensive midfielders with Durkin and Blom. Okay, not too bad. Durkin's usually pretty solid. Blom has dropped off this year. I'm not quite sure why, but he's been serviceable. Right. And then with Wenzel, like, he's our City 2 captain. He just got signed. So I was like, okay, yeah, he'll probably do pretty well. And he's paired with Parker, so this is going to go well. Reed, great. And then we had Watts, so I was like, okay, he'll probably be serviceable. So I was actually thinking, okay, we may actually stand a chance with Colorado, even though Colorado is actually a pretty decent team. I thought we were going to at least go toe-to-toe with them. However, as we're about to talk, the game did not quite go as planned. This was an absolute trouncing. So, Steve, what did you notice, especially in the first half compared to the second half? What did you notice? Like, what did you like, for instance, and what did you not like?
Well, so you and I were commenting that throughout the first quarter of the game, like, Thor seemed pretty good. Thor actually was making some good shots, and he looked okay. Klein making that shot, bombing that in there. That was exciting because he gets his first goal. It's great. That tied the match. Our passing seemed like it was better, and then right around the 30th minute is when it was just like, well, okay, I guess we're not going to do well. But so my positives were that the younger kids, other than what we're going to talk about, they were pretty good. Like, Reed was amazing. Reed set up Klein, and it was great. I was not excited at all about that back line. That, I think you had commented, the right side was just awful tonight. And Parker, we're gonna get some here. Parker he's slowing up too, and his contract's running out, and it's probably okay to let him sail off into the sunset soon, because I just wasn't very excited about his performance either. So offensively, this is weird for this team, because you and I were commenting that we wanted to see a sacrifice for defense if we got more offense. Where it's like our defense was sacrificed tonight, but we didn't get the offensive explosion on the other side of that. So we just got like the two worst teams. I saw a comment that was like, we want to be a pressing team, but we also want to be a defensive team. But we're not doing either well right now. And that seemed to kind of play out tonight where we didn't get a vibe at all. I was really excited about some of the passing plays, but defense I just was not. What about you, Guy?
Yeah, I think what you said is pretty much spot on. Especially in the first half, though, I felt like we had some kind of coordinated attack. I felt like we were putting pressure on. I had sent you a message, I believe it was at halftime. I felt like we were winning the attacking third. We had tons of corners,
Oh yeah.
tons and tons of corners. We were putting the ball towards the net. You mentioned about the Thor, which I was actually surprised. He actually made a pretty decent shot. It was a low XG type of shot because it was kind of almost like a fade shot at a very cute angle there. So I don't blame him for missing that one, but at least it was on frame. It was nice actually. I felt like we were definitely losing the midfield and definitely losing the defensive third. And I was 2-1 at halftime, and I thought, okay, not too bad. I felt like that was something we could overcome. Maybe with a few little tweaks, we could come out and put a little bit more pressure on, maybe solidify the midfield a little bit. But honestly, they came out, the midfield was a mess. It just did not look good. It was just really struggling. There was a few times that if you guys look back at this, Durkin passed, I think it was twice within like a minute span, twice to the other team.
Yes.
Blom just doesn't have the moves. Like he'll get the ball, he'll make some decent defensive moves, but then he just chokes it up left and right. Not at all impressed by him. And then I think we're probably going to be talking about a couple people, probably our wooden spoon player and probably our man of the match is probably on the defense. Let's see what Steve's going to think. Who was your, let's be positive first. Who was your man of the match?
Well, there's two. I want to give it to Reed because he was just the playmaker. He was setting the table all night. But for Johnny Klein, I gotta say, for me, the man of the match was Johnny Klein because he scored his first goal. He seemed really good out there. He was always in the mix, and he really didn't make a lot of mistakes. So for me, it was John. It was a hard thing. It was hard between like John Klein and Jay Reed, and it's so amazing because both of those players are recent City 2 players, and it shows the system is set up for getting these guys up here to this level. And I watched that City 2 match yesterday, and there's some kids we're going to be seeing coming up very, very soon too. So like, it's really cool to see this. It really reminds me of the Cardinals with their AAA in the early 2000s, where it's like they were essentially a major league team. And this is what City 2 is looking like for me. So your question was, who was my man of the match? And maybe we'll just say City 2, which is City 2 is the man of the match. You know, we'll just put the little 2 stamp up there, and that was it. But for me, it's John Klein. What about you? Who was your man of the match?
I would almost have to say Reed here.
Yeah.
There was one play that was on the left side of the attacking box, and it was basically him versus 5 defensive players, and he somehow was able to squirt out with the ball through those guys. Yeah, I was like, that's how he's playing today. Like this is probably, I think probably his best game, period. Yeah. He just was really shining. And if it wasn't for him, I think this would have been absolutely atrociously miserable. Now, Klein, though, like you said, he played really well. He was actually winning some headers against people who were taller than him. I at least recall 1 or 2 that he did. I was like, hey, man, go you. Good job. You know, like, so he was contributing. I didn't really see a lot of mistakes from him.
Nope.
Not a lot of bad passes, anything like that. So I'm with you. I would say it's maybe a coin flip. If I had to pick, I probably would pick Reed, but and I would say also like Reed had some good corners. He seemed to be delivering the ball well. So it was
was impressive to see most of the young guys doing well. Now, you were just about to ask who was the wooden spoon for me.
Indeed.
And without a doubt, there's not a single other player that I want to hang this on other than Vincel. He was out of position most of the night. He caused those transition goals to kind of squeak through. It just, he really looked like a young player that was being outclassed by a very good team. Let's be honest. Colorado right now, they're earning. They deserve to be where they are, but Vincel just did not look good. I know that he's our big young guy, but to me, everyone gets an off night, right? And if that's going to be the case, tonight's his. But he, for me, is without a doubt the wooden spoon. Who was yours? As if we don't know already.
No, I agree. I have to put an honorable mention for Lunt, but with Winslow, you're right. He was out of position. He looked to be more reactive than proactive.
Yeah.
He seemed like there was a lot of times where he wasn't sure how to mark players, or he was late to go and mark, or he just left people, like he was just reacting too slowly. And by the time he actually did something, the offensive player was blowing right past him. This was not a good look for him, and this is going to haunt him. And I would say, if I can count, I think we can count at least 2 goals that he was partially responsible for. And I'm not going to put the goalkeeper on this because, like, there's just sometimes where, if a cross goes across the goalkeeper, like, what's a goalkeeper going to do? Right.
Yeah. I mean, Berkey was set up like that tonight, where as soon as they pass cross, you know it's going to happen because these are professional players and it's going to happen. Could we give like an honorable mention for Wooden Spoon to Hackworth for the starting lineup and these sub calls he made later in the match? It's like tonight looked like a man playing with house money. Like he knows he's not going to get fired, so you might as well. Like it just, to me, a lot of these decisions probably were poorly made. I know he doesn't have a lot of players he can choose from, but like we're down 2 goals and we put in primarily the defensive players later in the match, and it just didn't work. It didn't work.
Yeah, and the hard part is well, we don't know. Was there any players who were needing the rest? Were there players that were mildly injured that just weren't reported? It just makes you kind of wonder. And honestly, I don't envy Hackworth at all, because the problem is he's inherited a team that's missing some of their top players, right? They're missing their top 4 highest players, and then their 6th highest player is Ostrak. So 5 of the 6 highest players they're missing. Like, what chance do you have, especially against a quality opponent? Like you said, Colorado is in great form. They've earned their position on this table. Now, Lunt, like I said, he definitely gets honorable mention. That was pretty darn pathetic, especially that last goal, basically right between his legs. How? Like I understand hockey, right? Like if this was hockey, I understand a puck going between your legs, like whatever. But this ball is like this big, like, and it's not like it was a shot like right in front of him. Come on, it was at an angle.
I'm no big defender of Lunt. I saw him last year at City 2, and I wasn't really impressed. We were mentioning before we started recording that in the Open Cup match last year, he really looked poor. Yeah, it is just, I don't know, man. Yeah, that last one, almost like he stood still, and he didn't. Like he probably thought that the defenders would either stop it or he wouldn't have to do anything. But maybe sometimes being 6'6" works against your favor. And this might be one of those instances where he made an amazing save earlier in the game where he was able to stretch his 8-foot-long arms out and deflect a ball that probably would have gone in. But, you make one save, but you don't make a bunch of others. That's not great. I think someone commented that even I could have made that last save. Some great poet.
Well, wonder who said that. I was wondering if you're going to catch that.
Yeah, even I could have done that, which it probably is true. Ben, call me.
Let's actually move to our game. Our next game is called Goal or No Goal.
Okay.
essentially, we'll read off different Twitter post or Reddit post, and we'll see if we think it's a goal or not a goal. I got one for you because I know how much you love the refs. So Rowan Bain said, I'm completely disappointed with the team performance tonight. Now, here's this part. On a positive note, I always appreciate the way Drew Fisher referees a match. As far as MLS officials are concerned, that guy is first class.
100% a goal. He was the first official that we had back after the refs came back from their lockout thing, and he did fine. He only had one yellow card tonight, and that was against Durkin, who made a boneheaded play late in the game. And I thought he was making the decent calls left or right. You know, I never, to me, I didn't have any calls or no calls tonight that seemed blatant. He wasn't the however clown. Like, to me, he did his job. We've mentioned it in the past that the job of a referee is to just be there. You should not know the referee's name other than someone that's now making it an issue every week. But you should not, during the match, see the referee. You know, it's almost like in a baseball where they're in black for a reason. They should just kind of blend into the background. So I felt that Fisher did a good job tonight. So for me, that one was a goal. Here's one for you.
Hit me.
All right, Matt Bird from Twitter says we'd be better off with 4 cabbages on the back line.
4 cabbages.
4 cabbages.
You know what? I'm actually going to say no goal just because you put Reed in that mix.
Right, so a number of, how about we'd be better off with some amount of cabbages then?
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. If we make that tweak, then I'll say a goal because that was pretty pathetic. My father had messaged 2 to 3
cabbages.
Yeah, my father had mentioned near the end of the game, he was like, Parker just seems like he's tired or just doesn't even care anymore. And maybe he was working double trying to cover for Winsel and Watts. I don't know. But yeah, cabbages it is.
You know, I will say that at some point in the game, Parker was out on the wings making a defensive play because the back there just wasn't doing his job. So yeah, I would like to say that Parker is causing some of this stuff, but no, yes, he is a touch slower than he was last year, but he's still one of the premier defenders, center backs in the league. So no, I'm not ready to say that Parker is trash, which I saw those comments tonight after the game. I saw them on Twitter and Facebook where people were actually saying Tim Parker is trash. I am nowhere near ready to do that yet. I'm just not. Oh,
not yet.
Okay. So here's another one for you. Alex Groves also on Twitter says, so are we a pressing team or a possession team? Because we're not really doing good at either, but we're sure as hell trying to do both.
Yeah, I would have to say goal with this because I have started to notice that this season we have tried much harder build up process. We've been trying to possess the ball more, and we seem to have fallen away from some of the press to some extent. Like we still are a pressing team, but not like hardcore like Red Bull press. Like we seem like we're pressing light and then possession light. I do agree with this confusion, and that's what I've noticed as well.
Yep. Yeah, and I think we saw it earlier in the season. It seemed like we were moving away from that high press, that really deep press that we had last year, and it was felt that we were moving away from that because of the players we had. And then we tried to go back in it. Well, it's like once you lose your identity, it's hard to get that back. And I don't think that we're going to fight it for the rest of this year. I think we're just going to try to muddle through until we can get a better look at for next season. So yeah.
So Matt Baker on Twitter, I got 2 of them back to back for you.
Awesome.
Matt Baker said, say what you want about the announcers, but there's a certain brutal honesty about saying, quote, it's Ennerin who calls his own number, end quote. And then Tactics with Michael, which is at Chat City Tactics, said, the next time Sam passes to an open teammate will be the first time Sam passes to an open teammate.
Right. Yeah, no, goals for both. Goals for both. Yeah, I that caught my ear when I heard it on the broadcast too, where it's just like, yeah, dude won't pass, and then the one time he does, Thor is unable to put it in. A very clear, very good job, and now he's probably never going to do it again because he broke his trust with the ability to pass. So, and then there was another shot where Sam took it. He took the shot, and I think Thor or Indy might have been on the other side, and he just took a shot too early, and he looked over and saw his teammate, and he waved to him like, "Oh hi, maybe I should have freaking passed to you, but I chose not to," and that's just kind of his thing. It's that's where we are with Sam, where it's us like if he passes, it's something might be wrong with the ball. Like we don't know what we're doing here. All right, let's see. It says they've been out all year for BC. Brutal defensive structure, confusing subs, and uninspired effort overall. Goal or no goal?
This is tough because I'm going to kind of counter your tweet with another tweet. Thomas Welsh had said, I can't tell if our defensive woes is a personnel issue, a system issue, or both. I think this is what I'm kind of struggling with. Is this really on the coaching, or is this just unfortunate, devastating injuries? I mean, seriously, like we are missing some really major players right now. Like if you think about our players who's out, Celio, right? Like he was arguably our best player on the team. Say what you want about Klaus, at least he added something to the team. Today,
Oh yeah,
Leuven not being there, Leuven makes a huge difference.
we're seeing again.
Ostrak was just starting to really come into his own, and I was really getting excited about when he came on the field. Then he got hurt. Is okay, but he definitely contributed many times. But think about all these players. Name me a coach that could take our current roster and do anything.
Right. Yeah. And with all the injuries and all the issues, yeah, you're right. It's going to be all right. Then Hebert's been out because of Copa, and we need him to come back too. So it's another player it just makes that tweet I sent out about where I put all the tape on the poster or the team poster, all the dots that are on there, it's going to be continue to grow. Matt Baker did comment that it was stated that Berkey left tonight not because of the injury he sustained a couple weeks ago, but he had a back spasm. As soon as he had a first kick, he started feeling back spasms. So he got off the field. He knew his body. He knew he had to get off right then. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but it doesn't seem like a lingering thing. It seems like a tweak thing tonight. So hopefully we'll be back next week. But that's what was reported tonight.
So this is kind of funny little tweet. One person had said here, can't get hurt in the playoffs again if you don't make it.
My God. Although
you got to give it a goal or no goal. What is it?
That's a goal. Can't break my heart if I don't try, I guess. I think we're this is a team that likes to set records, so we're trying to go a full calendar year without winning on the road, and we're about a month out. So let's not give up, guys. Let's not give up.
All right, so I got a really good one. This is a huge paragraph, but I'll only give you part of it. So King ADROA had said on Reddit, I'll get downvoted for my opinion, but I don't care because some of you need a reality check.
Oh no.
Carnell was not the problem, plain and simple. Sam is a selfish player. His true colors have been put on full display. And if I could go back and comment on everybody's posts that said start Sam, or we would win if Sam started, I would. To everybody saying, well, Hack has an injury-ridden team, he has the exact same squad as Bradley did. They would have brought up these City 2 guys regardless of the manager because, surprise, that's how many injuries this team has, and they desperately need reinforcements. Do you think this guy's on the right track?
I'm going to say everyone wants a hot take. And so I'm going to say this is going to be a no goal for me, only because we do not know, other than what Lutz said. Lutz said it was performance this year is what cost Carnell his job. You and I commented, and we're probably right on, he lost the locker room. You lose a locker room, doesn't matter who you have on the squad. They're not going to respect you anymore. So we don't know if Carnell overcoached last year. We don't know if he undercoached last year. We know the team overperformed from what they're doing this year. So if you got pretty much the same roster as you did last year, but this is how they're performing now, I have a feeling it was most of the players' performances, not so much the coach, and the coach was exposed. That's what I'll say. To his comment about Sam, yeah, congratulations. Everyone realizes Sam is not a starter. Sam doesn't do this. Sam is who he is. You don't get extra credit points because you commented about a player who has demonstrated a certain thing. So, Hackworth, we know Hackworth has been a coach. We don't know how good of a coach he is because the team is very, very injured right now. And there's a lot of issues with the team. But with the BC stuff, we don't know exactly what happened. We are in pretty much agreement that he lost the team. The team wasn't performing, and the Blitz had to make a choice, and he chose to fire him at the spot. I know a lot of people in the business aren't happy about that, but those people are protecting each other. I mean, we can be okay with understanding that. There's a reason why people in the industry are saying that it was too early for him to be fired because, well, that's their gig too. But yeah, for me, that's a no-go. As long as a stupid post as that was, my answer is just as long.
Fair enough.
I got one more. This account has said some problematic things in the past, but this is a funny little comment. Berkey's Turkey has said, "This is turning out to be a season from hell."
Can I give 2 goals? Because, yeah.
Hell, you give 2 goals, that's more than we score. So we might as well have 2 goals on one night eventually anyway.
Fair enough. Well, if you want another funny one, right? So Smiles Edgeworth on Reddit said, "Never thought I'd long for the days of the endless draws, but here we are."
I don't know, man. 10's enough.
Fair enough.
Although tonight would have been a great night for a win since Dallas got beat by Kansas City, which one of their bonehead players got a red card tonight. So he might be out for a couple more games. Be on the lookout for that. So with Dallas losing, we could have leapfrogged right over them. But now 11, 12, 13, and 14 on the West Coast on the West Conference stays exactly the same because no one has enough points to move up.
So similar to a court case, Steve's closing arguments. Do you have any closing thoughts before we depart?
Keep your head up, guys. This is one season of one sport that is just not great. We've got all the transfer window guys coming in. We've got the 2 guys from Germany. We have the guy from Australia coming in. That should bolster things. Klaus is not out for the rest of the season, most likely. Was it Ostrak might come back late this season? So we've got some of those players coming back. We also are building for next year. This is a down year, and that'll help us prepare for next year. So that's that. One more thing is we have a poll we do every week where we encourage people on Facebook and Twitter and Reddit to guess which formation the team will use. And every week we put it out there. And if you want to get credit for making a right comment, a right guess, just go ahead and comment on there. And tonight, Dave Brown on Facebook commented that he thought it'd be a 4-2-3-1. And I said I would give him a shout out. So Dave, good job guessing this lineup tonight. Wish you would have brought us a win, but hey, you got us the formation, which is okay. We've got Vancouver next week at home. And if everyone remembers, Vancouver just put it on us, and we just got it put on us by Colorado tonight. So at least we're at home, right? We only have a few more of those. We have 3 or 4 matches at home. So let's hope that we get a win next week. I think a win will be fun. What about you?
Yeah, so my closing arguments is that I don't want people to get disappointed with our new guys coming in. And the reason why I'm saying this is that the transfer window is so late in the MLS season that we're not going to see this radical change of the team just instantly. If we were like in ninth spot and we were trying to maintain the ninth position in the table or try to work our way up, I would say, yeah, let's get excited about these guys. They might edge us enough to get to that point. But we are so far down right now, it would be a miracle. I don't want us to get disappointed. But here's the thing, in baseball, when you have a team that's good, they tend to be good for years and years, right? Like you see teams that are good for a decade plus, etc., right? Like think about how the Cardinals were in the 2000s, right?
Right.
Football, like actual American football, a lot of times you could see a team that would win like 4 games in a year, and then the next year they're like playoff bound and they're doing amazing, right? The parity is just a little different. MLS, actually, Steve brought this up a long time ago. I think this was in one of our first episodes. Is the parity is such that you can have a team like Seattle that's doing amazing, and then all of a sudden they just drop down completely at the bottom of the table at the beginning of the season. Same thing is, yeah, okay, this year we're not doing so great. Well, guess what? Last season we were first in the Western Conference. Next year, guess what? We may be first again. It's possible.
Be back there.
That's just the nature of the MLS, is that teams do bounce around a lot. Now, there are teams that can stay good or teams that can stay bad, but there's a lot of fluctuation. So what I'm trying to tell you guys, don't be too disappointed with this season. And don't be too disappointed if these guys come in and they just don't light it up instantly. That's okay.
Right. And, that's an excellent point. I'll keep going back to recency bias with what Miami did last year with Messi and Busquets and Suarez, them all guys coming in. They came in right around this time last year, and Miami did not win a lot of games at the end of last season. They still finished bottom. They were not great, and they actually started this season with their little showcase around the world really terrible. But it took those guys time to coalesce, and now they're literally one of the best teams in the league. And they just got put on by Cincinnati, who's also an amazing team. Which, by the way, let's remember, Cincinnati's only been in the league for a couple years. Their first 2 seasons, they won the spoon. They got the wooden spoon the first 2 seasons of their existence. And now they are on top of the world. So let's not get too caught up in where we are right now, because things will change overnight. So that's that. So just for closing, don't forget, we are BRB Fancast. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter. We have a website, brbfancast.weebly.com. Look for us with all the polls. We do fan polls. We do formation polls. We'll think of some other kind of polls or quizzes we can do with you guys. But we love the fan interaction. We love Dustin commented last week on this episode he listened to. We've had other people have commented on our stuff. So if you ever feel like you want to come on and you can't reach us on Facebook or Twitter, go on our website, fill out the little questionnaire that's at the bottom of the website, and send us an email. We'll reach out to you. We'll reach back out to you, and we'll get you on. Even if you don't want to come onto the actual episode, we can record a little thing with you. So we look forward to seeing from you guys, and keep your head up. It's still fun having a soccer team in St. Louis, right?
Amen, brother. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Till then, all for City.
All for City, baby.